Today, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Dillon Brooks are all going to be required to play 30 minutes per game on the Shanghai Sharks, and my challenge is to build a championship team around these guys. So this is going to be difficult considering all these guys are going to have to play heavy minutes, and even if we get star players, they might not necessarily even be able to be a part of a starting lineup as a result of the challenge. We went out and got Walker Kessler and Clint Capella because the one position that we don't have one of our guys in is the center spot, so I want to make sure we have a good center who can really hold it down for us. And then it really just comes down to adding good depth pieces. I was able to get Chris Middleton and turn right around and trade him along with Walker Kessler to go out and get Paul George. That's right, we have Paul George on the roster, and he's going to be running the six-man spot for us. So we've really got a super six-man coming off the bench. Then we're going to go out and get Russell Westbrook. So we're just reuniting all the Clippers. We got Robert Covington here as well. We've got former Clipper legend Chris Paul. I mean, we've got a really nice roster to work with, and I think we should be pretty comp this year. Let's go ahead and let's simulate the season. By the end of the year, we were actually really good, as I thought. I mean, I was in my GM bag. What can I say? Paul George was the sixth man of the year, which is pretty crazy, and he had a really good year. Jordan Poole, most improved player. I mean, really off that playoff run, there's only one way to go, and that's up, because, man, it couldn't get much worse than that. It was really rough for the Warriors, and specifically Jordan Poole. There was no pool party. The pool got completely drained. They must have thought it was wintertime because the pool, yeah, bro, there was no type of pool parties. I'm not going to lie to you, but we had a really good season. Clint Capella was actually really good for us on the glass. He was efficient scoring-wise. Jalen Duren was also good. He's a player who's almost a must-have in rebuilds. He's on a team-friendly deal the first couple years, and he always puts up good numbers. We've got the Phoenix Suns in round one, and this team really does not scare me at all. They take a game, but let's be honest, that 2021 championship run for the Suns, it's looking like a Linsanity run, man, because ever since, things have just gone downhill, even though they got Kevin Durant, which is wild. But in round two, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans. This is a pretty good basketball team, but I feel like respectfully, the Shanghai Sharks are definitely better. We're tied up at one apiece. We kind of have this reoccurring theme of dropping the first game of the series, but this time we're down 3-1, and we end up losing in 5. Shout out to me for having that crazy voice crack as I said 3-1. But yeah, we lost. The Pelicans go on to the NBA Finals, and CJ McCollum wins Finals MVP. All right, man. Now it's time for the offseason. Our big offseason addition was Seth Curry. I feel like Seth Curry had a couple of really good years. I mean, he was pretty good this year in Brooklyn. I don't really know, man. I'm a casual, don't know ball. But our player progression isn't looking great. We had some guys going up, but Paul George went down to an 86. And a guy who I had my eyes on last season was Bam Adebayo, and we're going to go ahead and get him. Even though we do have to get Kyle Lowry, who's on a pretty bad contract, it's an expiring deal, so we'll go ahead and we'll add Kyle Lowry. Also, I'm going to go out and get Cameron Payne. I did actually realize, though, Chris Paul retired on us, so I had to import his player DNA so that we could put him back in the league. He's in his age 38 season, and if he decides to retire again, I'll override it. But once he decides to call it quits after that overrided retirement, I'm just going to say the video's wrapped. So we're going to have a time frame that we're working on, if you know what I mean. We're going to have a limited amount of time to go out there and win the chip. And this season was definitely a step back from year one. Having Paul George was huge in that first season, but the regression hit for PG, and I felt like it was time to trade him. Maybe that was a mistake, but at an 86 overall, I doubt he would have put up the same numbers that he put up off the bench last season. And even though we weren't as good as last year, I felt like 46 wins still should have been good enough to keep us out of the play-in, but it wasn't. Ultimately, we ended up getting out of the play-in and getting the 7th seed, but it's kind of crazy that we won 46 games and we're the 8th seed in the play-in tournament. We've got the Oklahoma City Thunder in round one. They're the number 2 seed. It'll be interesting to see if we can pull off an upset. Checking out the season stats, Klay Thompson led the way, followed very closely by Jordan Poole. Jalen Duren, like I told y'all, man, he was really good for us. Clint Capella had another solid season. And now let's get into this first round against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We take game one, so off to a good start. They do take the next one, but we're up 2-1 in the series. I mean, as a 7 seed, okay, we're up 3-1. Okay, they take a game and we get out of there in 6. A really good showing from our guys. I did not expect us to do so well considering we only won 46 games on the regular season. We won by 42 points to close out the Thunder in Game 6. An absolutely huge performance from the guys so that we could advance to the second round as a 7th seed. And we've got the Los Angeles Lakers in round 2. I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. This roster looks ridiculous. I'm kind of scared of this team, but we'll see if we can get it done. They were only 1 seed better than us. They had the 6th spot, but we're up 2-0 on them. We're up 3-0, okay? They do take a game, and okay. They take 2, they take 3. All right, bro. We're headed to a Game 7 here. We can't blow the 3-0 lead, as the Shanghai Sharks blowing a 3-0 would be wild. The Lakers are really fighting for it, but in the 4th quarter, we come up clutch. It was probably lots of Chris Paul buckets. Y'all know how it goes. Chris Paul is a known playoff performer, and we're moving on to the conference finals. Who would have thought? We're here as the number 7 seed, and we've got the Memphis Grizzlies. Can Dillon Brooks get his revenge against Memphis? In game number 1, it doesn't look like it. We lose. Game 2, we also lose. Game 3, we also lose. And we got swept. Wow. So we had that miraculous run as a 7 seed to the conference finals just to get swept by the Memphis Grizzlies there. So really unfortunate. And Chris Paul wants to call it quits. Like I said, we'll override his retirement, but this likely means we only have 1 more year to try and make this championship happen. And I saw a trade for Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I had to take it. So we have Julius Randle, but I don't actually want him. So we're going to go ahead and get Bam Adebayo back. It took a couple future first-round picks, but ultimately I was able to get Bam back on the roster. I feel like he'll fit better than Randle because we've been running Klay as our power forward because we have to start, Chris Paul, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, and Dillon Brooks. So unfortunately, Julius Randle just didn't really fit. But getting Bam Adebayo back was huge, while we also added Jalen Brunson, who can kind of fill that Paul George role from earlier on. He can be like a super 6-man for us, get a lot of buckets off the bench. That's the role that I envision for him, so hopefully that'll work out. Let's see how this season goes, though. This is our final season of the video, most likely, unless Chris Paul decides to keep it pushing. So hopefully we can make the best of this playoff run. Cole Anthony put up some ridiculous numbers off the bench, but let's go ahead and let's get into it, man. We didn't have any All-NBA or All-Defensive players. Kind of expected, though, considering that probably our best player, Jalen Brunson, was off the bench. In round number 1, we are facing the 6-seeded Pelicans. We were able to get in here as a 3 seed, so it was most definitely a successful regular season. Jordan Poole was hooping. Like I said, man, Jalen Duren, great off the bench for us. And let's go ahead and let's get into it, man. Can we beat the New Orleans Pelicans? Did we beat them in the past? I think they might have beat us in the past. Didn't they go on to win the championship? CJ McCollum was the finals MVP, something like that. Well, let's see if we can have a different outcome this time. In game number 1, they win, but ultimately we go ahead and we get out of there in 6. Now we've got the Grizzlies, and for some reason I got a different feeling about this one. I think this is going to be a much better series for us. Let's simulate the round, and boom, we get out of there in 5. We have the Houston Rockets in the conference finals, and things are looking good. Let's check out the playoff stats, though, to see who's been doing their thing. And it's Jalen Duren, man. What did I tell y'all? If y'all take one thing from this video, it's that next time you go out and do a 2K rebuild, go get Jalen Duren. Do not get Dillon Brooks, though. Those shooting splits, absolutely crazy. Straight tour date shooting numbers. Let's go ahead and let's get into it, though. Houston Rockets in the conference finals. A finals run on the line. Can we make it there? Their team looks good. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But can the Sharks make some magic happen? We're down 2-0. We take a game. We lose again. And our season might be over. But yeah, we lost. We lose in 6 games. Unfortunate, but I have fun doing this rebuild. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.